Hello everyone, I'm 10th Dr. Matt, and in this second episode of TDM Style, we're going to be covering the Partners in Crime hairstyle. This is one of my favorite 10th Doctor hairstyles. I mean, it's different from every other episode. I mean, I guess it's still a sticky uppy hairstyle at heart, but it allows for a lot of natural wave, which is great for me, so I have to use less straightener, and it's very fluid, allows for lots of motion, and has just a little bit of extra wet look for a ton of texture. So as far as the length of hair that you're going to need for this, I would say that the ideal length of the fringe is probably somewhere between 4.5 to 5 inches. Because of the amount of curl in this hairstyle, you're going to need that little bit of extra length if you want your hair to still come down about halfway down your forehead when everything's all said and done. So as usual, I'm going to start out with clean, damp hair, so I'll be back in a flash. So once again, I'm starting out by pre-styling with a little bit of the Clay Pomade by Baxter of California. Now, I'm using a clay instead of just using some of the hard-to-get paste here because the hard-to-get, by nature of being a paste, it has less hold than a clay product does, and since my hair is so long and thick at this point, I'm going to need that extra hold so that my hair doesn't fall over. Now, since this hairstyle is more of a side-swept look rather than just a straightforward sticky uppy, you can go ahead and use like a brush or a comb to actually get your hair going in that sort of comb-over shape while you're pre-styling. Now, I'm going to use a lot of the same blow-drying techniques that I would for a normal sticky uppy, so we're going to do a lot of backwards to give the roots some lift, forwards to just get the hair moving in that direction and straighten out some of the natural wave of my hair. But I'm also going to be using my vent brush here so that while I'm blow-drying, I can also be moving my hair from the left side to the right to give it that side-swept look. Now, you just want to be careful about the left side. You're not really going for a hard side part. I mean, it's obviously fine if you get a little bit, but I like to have it just a little bit more of a forward flowy look there rather than having a hard line part. Once your hair is almost completely dry, don't forget to switch your hairdryer to cool air and basically go over your whole head again so that you can lock your hair follicles into that shape. Now, I'm quite happy with how my hair is looking after blow drying, so I'm going to take a chance and not use a straightener here. But if you have naturally straight hair and you want it to get a little bit curly, you would benefit from using something like a sea salt spray here. So since we're not using any straighteners, we're going to move straight into applying our hard-to-get paste. As always, we want to warm it up in our palms first so that we don't get any clumps, and then we're going to start by applying it at the back of our head, moving towards the front, and then towards the back again to get a nice even distribution. Once the hard to get is all worked in, I'm finger combing my hair from the left to the right to give it that side-swept flow. Now, at this point, my hair is looking pretty good, and it does still have quite a bit of wet look, but that is because of the hard-to-get paste. Basically, it goes in looking a little bit more wet, and as it dries and sets, it's going to reduce some of that wet look and end up with more of a matte finish. So, I'm going to give it a few minutes to dry before we move to the hair stick. So while you're waiting, you might enjoy a delicious sip of coffee. Once the hard to get has dried for a couple of minutes, you're ready to move on to the hair stick. I'm using my tried and tested method of scraping a little bit off with the cap and then warming that up in my fingertips. So now it's time to apply, and we can be a little bit more liberal with this stuff here than we were for the regular Sticky Uppy version 1.0 because this hairstyle has quite a bit more wet look and texture. That being said, however, you still want to be very careful and make sure not to rush so that you don't end up with too much, making your hair heavy and prone to falling. And that's about it for our Partners in Crime hairstyle, folks. And I gotta tell you, I am like seriously happy with how mine came out without even using the straightener. I took a chance with the waviness, and I think it paid off. So, as you can see from that little bit of extra hair stick all over, we've got a nice amount of wet look, super high amounts of texture, and that just little bit extra of oil-based product is going to help keep our hair really soft and allow for a lot of motion. It's also helpful for restyling throughout the day, so you can run your fingers through it, you can fix it and touch it up, and it's going to stay nice and soft and flowy. That's it for this second episode of TDM Style. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, thank you so much for watching.